do not know how to start this video. It's awkward.
엉망진창 나도 날 모르겠어 어둡게 색칠된 미래 홍적돼 거세 까맣게 이 밤에 더 지루해 우예.
Hi everybody, my name is Diana, but everybody calls me D, and today I'm going to give you 5 tips so that you are better prepared to meet your biases or your faves during a high touch. These are based on all my experiences during high touch. GOT7 being the first. I was such a noob. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. So yeah, I'll tell you what I've learned. Okay, if you see me looking down, it's because I have it all listed on my phone. The first one would be to prepare what you want to say. Yes, I know that it gets really nerve-wracking, but preparing what you want to say ahead of time and practicing actually really helps. So I have this experience with 17. I went to their fan meet and I got a ticket for their high touch. So there are 13 members, okay? 13 freaking members. That's a lot. And yes, I didn't manage to say a lot of things to every member, but I prepared ahead of time so that, you know, there are things that I can tell my biases. Number 2 would be to set your priorities. I know everybody wants to at least have a decent conversation with your favorites, be it your biases or the other members, but high touches are really quick and that's not feasible. Focus on your biases first, because that's the main reason why you want to go for a high touch anyways, right? I myself am a huge fan of NCT 127 and NCT and the whole thing, but my bias or biases, okay, bias in 127 will be Doyoung. So if I have a chance to meet 127, my main focus will be on Doyoung first because I want him to recognize me or to at least acknowledge my presence. Yes, and if I get to see and say things to other members, then that's a bonus. Yes. Tip number 3 would be to wow your biases. So far, I've been to a few high touches and I had very memorable experiences with my biases because I do weird things all the time. Yeah, so my advice is to do something funny, something weird, be loud or extra, it doesn't matter. You know, as long as you're having fun, as long as, you know, you're memorable, they'll probably remember you. So, for 17's fan meet, I went for the high touch. So I got the chance to meet all 13 of them and it was really quick. But I managed to get responses or reactions from 2 of my biases, Seungkwan and Mingyu, and that's so memorable that I can remember it till today. For Seungkwan, he thanked me profusely and he started giggling whenever I pointed to the slogan that I kept in hand. So he knew that he was my bias. As for Mingyu, I couldn't control all my feelings because I have loved Mingyu ever since 17 TV, ever since they were just trainees. So when I met him face to face, oh my god, I couldn't control myself and I accidentally screamed his name. He was surprised, but he bent over laughing. So yeah, he will probably remember me as the crazy girl who screamed his name during a high touch. Number 4 would be to keep your slogans at hand, be it fan projects or those fan site slogans. Yes, keep that in hand. So one hand with the slogan, one hand out ready to touch your bias's hand for high five. There's that, you can't touch them anywhere else. Yes, just in case you freeze up, which is rather unfortunate. If you get really starstruck by their presence and you freeze up, then you have your slogan to back you up, so your bias knows that he's your bias. That helps. It helped me with Seungkwan at least, because when I first saw him I was like, ah. I'm meeting Seungwon for the first time! And I froze up just a tiny bit, but he realized that he was my bias. Last one would be, if you're braver than all the US Marines, then try to prolong your time with your bias. What I mean is that try to drag that time just a tiny little bit to say something extra, okay? So what I did for my first ever high touch, and that was with GOT7, was to prolong my time with Yugyeom. Now, the thing about me was that I was the last in line, so technically I couldn't sort of drag since nobody else was behind me, but I didn't let go. I didn't want to let go of Yugyeom's hand, and the staff had to tell me, please let go of his hand. So I had that extra like 3 seconds or 4 seconds with Yugyeom since he was the last member, and I had to leave after that. So yeah, I didn't let go. Yugyeom was nice enough to not let go of my hand first, so I was the one who had the power to like let go or not. So yeah, that's how I prolonged my time with Yugyeom. Let me repeat all 5 tips, okay? The first one would be prepare what you want to say so that when you meet them, you can tell them right away. Practice beforehand if you can. Now, number 2 would be to set your priorities right. Focus on your biases first, the other members come later. And if you manage to say hi or something to the other members, then that's great. The third one would be to wow your bias. Be loud, extra, funny. Try to invoke some, reactions from them. Yeah, so that you'll be memorable. 4 would be to keep the slogans at hand so that if you freeze up, they know that they're biased. And the last one would be to try to prolong that time a teeny tiny bit so that you can say more things to your bias. And with that, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope all my tips and tricks will really help all of you, especially for the first timers who are going to meet their biases during the high touch. And yeah, see you in the next video.